If you are an Etsy seller, you may have experienced the frustration of having a payment reserve placed on your shop. And this can happen for a variety of reasons, such as a sudden increase in sales or a change in your selling patterns. While it's a common practice for Etsy to protect itself against potential chargebacks or refunds, it can be a real headache for sellers who rely on their sales to make a living. But don't worry, there are steps that you could take to resolve this issue and get your funds released. In this video, we will discuss what a payment reserve is, why Etsy placed them on shops, and most importantly, what you could do if you find yourself in this situation. So if you're struggling with the payment reserve on your Etsy shop, keep watching to find out how to resolve this issue and get back to doing what you love, which is creating and selling your handmade goods. Hi and welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Nancy Badillo and I am the founder of the Etsy Mastery course, and my channel is all about helping you grow an impactful Etsy business. So if you're ready to grow your business and take it to the next level, make sure to subscribe for videos like this and much more. Understanding payment reserves on Etsy. Before we dive into the specifics of payment reserves on Etsy, let's first define what a payment reserve is. A payment reserve is a portion of your sales that Etsy withholds from your account for a certain period of time. Essentially, Etsy is holding onto your money as a safety net in case of chargebacks or refund payments. Now, reserves can range from a small percentage of your sales to a large percentage depending on your shop's risk level. Etsy uses an algorithm to determine your shop's risk level, which takes into account factors such as your sales volume, order fulfillment, and customer satisfaction. It's important to note that payment reserves are not unique to Etsy. Many online marketplaces such as Amazon and eBay use payment reserves as a way to protect themselves against potential losses. Reasons why Etsy places payment reserves on shop. Now that we have an understanding of what a payment reserve is, let's talk about why Etsy places them on shops. As mentioned earlier, payment reserves are a way for Etsy to protect itself against chargebacks or refunds, and chargebacks occur when a customer disputes a charge on their credit card and the credit card company reverses the payment to the seller. Refunds occur when a customer requests a refund for a purchase. Etsy places payment reserves on shops for a few reasons. First, if a shop has a sudden increase in sales, it may be seen as a higher risk for chargebacks or refunds. Second, if a shop has a change in their selling pattern, such as selling a new product or shipping to a new country, it may also be seen as a higher risk. Finally, if a shop has a history of chargebacks or refunds, it may be placed on payment reserve as well. Now, while payment reserves can be frustrating for sellers, it's important to remember that they're in place to protect both Etsy and the seller. By holding onto a portion of the seller's sales, Etsy can ensure that it has funds available in case of chargebacks or refunds. This protects the seller from potential finances losses, as Etsy will use the reserve funds to cover any chargebacks or refunds. How payment reserves affects your shop finances. Now that we understand why Etsy places payment reserves on shops, let's talk about how they can affect your shop finances. When a payment reserve is placed on your shop, a portion of your sales will be held by Etsy for a certain period of time. This means that you will not have access to those funds until the reserve is released. The length of time that a payment reserve is in place can vary depending on your shop's risk level. It can range from a few days to several months. Now, during this time, you will need to adjust your finances accordingly. If you rely on your Etsy sales to make a living, a payment reserve can be a real financial burden. It's important to keep track of your reserve balance and release date so you could plan accordingly. You may need to adjust your budget or find alternative sources of income during this time. It's also important to communicate with your customers about the payment reserve so they understand why their payment may be held for a period of time. Steps to take if you have a payment reserve on your Etsy shop. If you find yourself in the unfortunate situation of having a payment reserve on your Etsy shop, there are steps that you could take to resolve the issue on your Etsy shop. Number one is check your payment account to see if there are any outstanding issues. If there are any open cases or dispute, you will need to resolve them before the reserve can be released. Number two is review your shop's policy and make sure that they're up to date. This includes your shipping and return policies as well as your item descriptions. Number three is fulfill orders in a timely manner. This will help build your trust with customers and reduce the risk of chargebacks or refunds. Number four, communicate with your customers about the payment reserve. Let them know why their payment may be held for a period of time and provide them with an estimated release date. And number five, contact Etsy support if you have any questions or concerns. They can provide you with more information about the payment reserve and help you resolve any issues. Tips for avoiding payment reserves in the future. While payment reserves can be frustrating, there are steps that you could take to avoid them in the future. And here's some tips for avoiding payment reserves on Etsy. Number one is maintain a consistent sales volume. A sudden increase in sales can trigger a payment reserve, so it's important to maintain a steady sales volume. Number two, fulfill orders in a timely manner. This will help you, again, build trust with customers and reduce the risk of chargebacks or refunds. Number three, keep your shop policies up to date. This includes your shipping and return policies as well as your item descriptions. Number four, communicate with customers throughout the sales process. This includes providing them with tracking information, answering any questions they have. Number five is contact Etsy support team if you have any questions or concerns, because they can actually provide you with more information about your shop's risk level and help avoid future payment reserves. Communicating with Etsy customer support about payment reserves. If you have any questions or concerns about a payment reserve on your Etsy shop, it's important to communicate with Etsy customer support. They can provide you with more information about your payment reserve and help you resolve any issues. To contact Etsy customer support, log into your account and click on the help button at the bottom of the page. From there, you can search for articles related to payment reserves or contact Etsy support directly. When contacting Etsy customer support, be sure to provide them with as much information as possible. This includes your shop name, the amount of the payment reserve, and also the release date. Resources for learning more about Etsy's payment policy. If you're looking for more information about Etsy's payment policy, there are resources available to you. And some of those resources are, the first one is the Etsy Seller Handbook. The Etsy Seller Handbook is a great resource for learning about all aspects of selling on Etsy, including payment policies. Number two is the Etsy Help Center. The center provides detailed information about Etsy's payment policies, as well as answers to frequently asked questions. And number three is Etsy Forums. They're a great place to connect with other sellers and ask questions about the payment policy. If you find yourself with a payment reserve on your Etsy shop, don't panic. There are steps that you could take to resolve the issue and get back to doing what you love, which is creating and selling your handmade goods. By understanding payment reserves on Etsy, communicating with your customers, and working closely with Etsy customer support, you can overcome this obstacle and continue to grow your business. Thanks for watching.